Hello folks, welcome back to the Addicted Bookworm, where my addiction is all over the internet. So on this channel I do book hauls, book reviews about digital and physical media, audiobooks, and so much more. Happy Thursday everybody. I am absolutely exhausted. Well, not absolutely exhausted, I just woke up, so it's going to take some time to get all here and all there. So I did this video earlier this morning, much earlier this morning, but I decided to redo the video because I kind of wanted to include a couple more things into it so that people will understand my position on this particular thing and how this thing actually was allowed to happen and all that. So I came home last night and I logged in and all that wonderful jazz. And there was a couple of booktubers that were talking about this book that got this author arrested. And it was entitled Daddy's Little Toy, and it is supposed to be a dark romance between a barely legal 18-year-old girl and I believe, 30-some-year-old man and all that. What got people upset, and I do not know why they were shocked, I don't know why, was that he had been desiring her since she was 3. Yeah. I got enough sleep, I'm just like, man alive. So, I did a video about it. Alright. So I'm about to lay blame because this is based on reality, not because I don't like dark romance. So, here's the thing about book publishing. Okay? So there is no evidence that this is a self-published book. No evidence. This is a self-published book. Nothing in the article said it was self-published. Which, if it is, it should have been included in the article, but it wasn't. So one of the things that was mentioned in it was that, hey, the editor should have known that this was basically pedophilia. Except that the romance is not pedophilia. It's, the 18-year-old lusting after the 30-some-year-old man, and the 30-some-year-old man lusting after the 18-year-old. It's not pedophilia because she's legally an adult. She can make her own choices. It's the 3-year-old aspect of it that is considered to be pedophilia, because if a grown-ass man or woman is lusting after a child that I believe is under the age of 10, it's pedophilia. No, 11, it's pedophilia. I don't know the cutoff date between pedophilia and why you pronounce this stupid name. So I'm not, I heard the definition once, and that was in the documentary Hollywood Demons, but I forgot what age cutoff before it becomes this to this. Alright. So people were outraged. They were disgusted, all this stuff. And I am reading this article, and I am literally laughing. I'm literally laughing. Because of how popular dark romances are. How we have not seen any kind of blow up of age differences in dark romance, or age gap romances in dark romance books. And then of course people are coming out and saying this is not age gap romance, this is pedophilia, when the main character at the time that she initiates or wants the romance, she's an adult. And she's an adult there's plenty of characters in dark romances that are barely legal that lust after much older men. And those books fly off the shelves. Those books are featured on Book Talk. Those books are bestsellers. Those books make authors a lot of money. So, why did people get upset about it? Because of the fact that he had been lusting after this woman since she was 3. However, if you remove that part, if you just don't include it, if you just have them, they've never met before, and blah blah, you're going to get people gushing over it on Book Talk, and that is what fuels what editors and what publishers, agents and publishers will publish. This is a fact. So for people that don't know, someone had said that when a agent looks at a manuscript, they go and they look at, does this book that I'm going to try to get published, does this follow a trend that is very popular? Are these tropes very popular? If the answer is yes, they will push that manuscript to an editor or to a publisher or whatever, and go, hey, we got another, I've read the manuscript, the book is good, this is a blah, this is a da, and a da, and I believe this is going to sell. If it is part of a trend of books that have made the publishing house a shit ton of money, they will publish the book. They will not care about age gap. If age gap romances are insanely popular, they will in fact publish those. Now, in Australia, and I did not know this, because you always learn something new every single day of your life. I didn't know this. But in Australia, there is a law that says that you cannot have child sex stuff. So, like, you can't have a book that has a 18-year-old woman and a 24-year-old man, or 18-year-old woman and a 51-year-old man, or 18-year-old woman and 500-year-old man. That's probably why these highly large age gap romance books are not in Australia. Those books are completely illegal to have. Now, there is nothing. Now, if you have a Kindle, you can download it onto your Kindle. I don't know how it bypasses the law, but it does. So there was worldwide outrage. I'm like, well, okay, here's my opinion, Mr. and Mrs. Outraged. Okay, if you're truly outraged at these age gap romances, then you need to stop reading them. You need to stop making them insanely popular. You need to stop. You need to reevaluate your taste in books. Because if you are fueling the need and desire for these books, these dark romances with these huge age gaps, and I'm talking about huge age gaps, or these romanticities with these huge age gaps, if you do not buy them, if you do not buy these romanticities and these dark romances with these giganto age gaps, then the publishing houses will see that there is no longer a market for those kinds of books, and they will say to these authors, I'm sorry, that's not popular anymore. But because people, especially women, love their giant age gap dark romance and romantasy books, because you have made the decision that this is morally correct, or this is a good to be reading a barely legal adult girl and a 800-year-old werewolf or 800-year-old zombie or whatever. She wrote the book for a particular audience. The only reason that people's little panties are in a wad is because the male character has been lusting after her since she was 3. If you guys didn't read this shit, we wouldn't have this shit being published. Editors and publishing houses will publish books if they have tropes that are insanely popular. That's how it goes. I'm not saying this because, I've been a victim of a child molester. I'm not saying that. I'm not using that as a reasoning to why I'm pissed off. Well, the fact is that you're pissed off about an age gap romance that you're suddenly saying isn't an age gap romance. But yet, if that was not included in it, you would have been eating the fuck up out of it. And the only reason that she has been arrested is because there is a law on the books that says that you cannot have this in your home. That is Australia's law. That's not the United... Here in the United States, you can publish anything that you want. Amazon KDP, all that type of stuff. You can publish anything you want. You can do huge age gap romances. A publishing house can do this, and nobody will bat an eyelid, because the first time that they meet is when she is barely legal. But your guys are fine with that. So we need to stop. We need to really take a hard look at why these things are allowed to be published. We need to stop liking this stuff and get back to reading romances and romanticities where the protagonists are either the same age or maybe a couple years apart. So here's another prime example of a Harlequin romance. Like, there's Harlequin Teen, and I'm reading the Iron Face series. So you got a girl who is still in high school. Okay? I don't know if she's 15 or 16, or I think she might be 18. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember if the author gave an age number. But then she falls in love with the prince of the Winter Court. We don't know how old he is. Why this does not disgust me is that, first of all, there is barely any romance in the book. Barely. Because 99% of the book is about trying to find out about these Iron Fae Court. And all the monsters that come out of it. Nobody is demanding that that series get taken off the shelf. Nobody is demanding that. Not a single person. Then you have Puck, who was brought over to the human world to watch over her since she was a baby. Now, there's no evidence, she didn't write anything in it that Puck's been lusting after her since she was a baby, because the author knows if she writes that, she's gonna get burned at the stake for it. But people, as I said, people need to stop giving these publishing houses an audience and a market. Because now y'all are realizing that there is an author out there that has not been told that you cannot write about this, and this, or blah, blah, and they go ahead and publish it, and then they wonder why they were put in jail for a certain number of hours and made to pay a fine, and then they have a court case. And this is all going to come out. This marketing for dark romances are going to come out, and I will tell you, they may not say it, but they're sure thinking it. It's your guys' fault that this book was even made, because you made a market for it, and she responded to that market. Just like I respond to the fact is that cozy mysteries are insanely popular. Dark fantasies are insanely popular. Now, my book would be considered just fantasy because there's no romance. I don't know if it'd be considered dark fantasy. You know, I'll get to that point when I get to it. But that's the thing. That's the thing. If people did not like age gap romances, then her editor would not have allowed it to be published. Because, as I said, there has to be a market for it. There has to be a market for it. If there's a market for it, it'll be published. Then all of y'all can get your damn freaking panties in a twist over it. But, yeah, it would have been published. Or it wouldn't have been published. Anyways, that is my video for today. Actually, take that, yeah, my video for today. I do have the list, the video where I talk about what books I'm going to be reading in April. That's next. And I wish you all well. Bye.